Motor learning is an internal process that cannot be observed from an external perspective. Ibig sabihin, that when we learn new skills or improve how we move like play a sport, the actual changes happening inside our brain and body are not visible to others. These changes are internal, like how the brain builds new connections or muscles get stronger and they can't be seen directly. But, even though you can see the learning process itself, nakikita mo naman yung kinalabasan o yung resulta. Halimbawa, someone learning to play guitar ay nagsisimula muna sa mabagal at nagkakamali pa. Pero habang tumatagal, they play better and faster. The improvement in their playing is the result of motor learning, even though the internal changes in their brain and muscle aren't visible. Motor learning as an internal process refers to the changes that occur within the brain, nervous system, and muscles when we learn or improve a skill. Sabi ko nga kanina, these changes happen inside our body and are not immediately visible to others. Here's a breakdown of how this process works. First, brain and nervous system changes, muscle memory, cognitive process, and internal feedback.
Brain and nervous system changes. When we practice a new skill, our brain creates new pathways or strengthens existing ones. This helps us remember the movement and makes it easier to perform over time. This is called neural adaptation. Kapag inuulit natin ang isang gawain, lumalakas yung connection natin sa ating utak. Kaya, mas madaling gawin ito sa paglipas ng panahon. So, one of the example of brain and nervous system changes or neural adaptation. When you first start riding a bike, your brain struggles to balance, steer, and pedal simultaneously. With practice, your brain strengthens the neural connections needed for coordination and balance. Muscle memory. As you practice, our muscle also adapt to the movements. They become more efficient and require less conscious effort to perform. This is often referred to as muscle memory, where the body gets better at repeating a movement without thinking about it. Habang paulit-ulit natin ginagawa ang isang galaw, nagiging mas sanay ang ating katawan. Kaya nagagawa natin ng hindi masyadong iniisip yung ating ginagawa. One of the example of the muscle memory, pero sa pagbabike pa rin tayo. Our muscles learn the correct movements for pedaling and balancing without needing to consciously think about it. Eventually, you can ride a bike effortlessly even after years without practice.
Dito naman tayo sa cognitive process. Cognitive process, the process also involves thinking and decision making. Initially, we may need to focus hard on the task, but as we learn, we rely less on conscious thought and the movements become more automatic. Dito, kapag we first learn a task, we need to think carefully about each step. Habang tumatagal, with practice, the task becomes easier and requires less thought, eventually becoming automatic. Halimbawa, kapag kumakain tayo, as you eat, you naturally know how to use utensils, chew, and swallow without consciously thinking about each action. And last, the internal feedback. As we practice, we also pay attention to how our body feels while moving. These internal feedbacks help us adjust and improve our movements even though it's not visible to others. As we practice, we pay attention to how our body feels while moving. This feeling called proprioception, which help us adjust and get better at the movements even though others can't see it. For example, when you're learning to ride a bike, you can feel how your body is balanced or tilted. If you lean too much to one side, you can sense it and adjust without thinking. This feeling helps you improve your balance and control, even though others can see you making those small adjustments. Thank you so much for listening. God bless. Bye-bye.